All right, let's look. No Yunjin critting for 40K. Pop out the Yunjin here. What do we have now? 71K damages. This is fairly good. I do have to say, I really like this new mechanic they added. New tier support with Shenhe as well as Yunjin here in patch 2.4. Now, is this power creep? On one hand, yeah, it's power creep because it's a brand new thing that you couldn't do before, and I'm going to explain to you just why it's so strong in case you already don't know how it works, which you potentially probably don't. And then there is also, on the other hand, it's not super power creep though. It's not power creep because it's more narrow than the other ways that we have to buff our characters up with, such as increasing their attack or their elemental damage bonus or their normal attack, charge attack, plunging attack. Those are all things that we can do with other characters. These characters work in a new way. Now, both Shenhe with her elemental skill, Spring Spirit Summoning, as well as Yunjin with her elemental burst, the Cliff Breakers banner, do this new mechanic here. So if you check out, for instance, Yunjin here, her talent skill here, the Flying Cloud of Flag Formation. Now, it's gonna give you 30 stacks for your whole party to trigger within up to 12 seconds here. And what it happens here is if you do a normal attack with anyone with a Flying Cloud of Flag Formation stack, it's going to give you a raw damage amount increase. The same thing with your good old Spring Spirit Summoning on Shenhe here. If you have a Spring Spirit Summoning, Cryo damage will proc this Icy Quill, and it's gonna add a flat amount of damage based on Shenhe's attack, and you're gonna be able to use this in a magnificent way, just like Yunjin's is based off of her defense. Now, this is how the damage works for this. So you take a look at this level 9 normal attack. One hit is an 84% mod, and we know this is based off of her attack. This works the same way that Shenhe's works. Now, Shenhe is gonna add an extra at level 1 here, 45% mod. At level 10, I do believe it's also like an 80% mod based off of Shenhe's attack. So say they have the equivalent amount of attack, 3,000 attack, maybe you get them up to 4K, you got it out there, the big Shenhe build, but say they both have 3,000 attack, you're gonna get 45% up to 80%, so about 80% of both of these characters' attack are gonna be calculated as the base damage. Now, this is gonna get multiplied by your character's crit chance and crit damage ratio, as well as your damage bonus up. So if you have someone like Eula here, who is built for big damage here, and you have her up with some decent crit damage and some physical damage bonus as well, this is all going to be accounting for this extra base damage. So say you have 84% multiplier here, Shenhe is also going to have like an 84% multiplier as well. Now that's going to be your base damage for both of those, and both of those things are going to be multiplied by Ayaka's crit chance, crit damage ratio, as well as all of her normal attack, charge attack, damage bonus ups, cryo damage bonus up. All of that stuff is going to buff both of those things. So basically, if you're applying both of those bonuses and getting an extra or 84% attack mod, but based off Shenhe's attack, you're doing double damage on that first hit, which is wild. And that's what really changes these two characters, and there's gonna be a lot of cool stuff you can do with them. Now, Shenhe is more of a burst damage focused character, and I can't wait to showcase her off later this week as well, whereas Yunjin is like a normal attack generic focus character. So you can use her with a lot more people than you can say with Shenhe, and I'll explain that in her build guide video as well. And I have no idea why they put Shenhe, who's a cryo main support period, in a team that can't use her really all that well. She gets 7 stacks with her E here in Kea while he's doing normal attack that's not cryo damage. So if you go ahead, smack someone around 1K crits, right? Throw this out, still getting the 1K crits. You have to do cryo damage to that bonus damage, which is very important for Shenhe. So this sort of like thing they have going on here is pretty garbage, but you can throw his burst out. You can see 2K-ish, and then immediately do this, and the damage goes from 2K to 3.2K. We saw 7K in there as well, and that's the difference that you can see between her little proc there, it not being active, and using it K. Oh my, they actually have her built properly too. 2-piece Glad, 2-piece Shim Rem. Yo, you did it. But you still gave her an absolute terrible team. She can like literally buff up Kaya's E and Elemental Burst, that's it. Of course they put Yunjin with Noelle as well. Okay, cool. Cool Pog Beans. Let's, are we on Sack Sword? No, we're on White Blind. All right, so check it out. Noelle, we're at 2.4K non-crits, 6K crits, throw this up. 5K, whew. Final attack 7K. So you can kind of see the power here. Now, I don't know what build they have on this character, What is she working with? 26 crit rate, 96 crit damage, artifact set. She's on the Huss set. Can't look at the actual specifics there. Prototype Star Glitter, Favonius is better than this, and her talents are level 8 there. So you can see just off of this sort of poorly both based build characters, her burst added an extra 2k or so, 2.5k damage between everyone. So we throw this back up again. Let's get some of the Noelle attacks off. So 4k, some crits to 5.1k. So like 1.1k extra damage there, additive as well. So pretty decent, even in the trial mode, to see just kind of the damage potential bonus there. And that is something that you need to take away from this as well, is even though it's like, oh, it went from 4k to 5k, that is still a 25% damage increase. That's a ton of damage increase, because that's a true increase to your overall damage by 25% in that instance there, which is an incredible amount. If you have something like Constellation, good old C6 Albedo, 17% damage bonus up, you see stuff like this. Remember, all of this damage bonus up is additive to all the other damage bonus up you have on a character. So if you're running around with someone like this Eula, who is built for having a good amount of bonus physical damage up already to 83%, adding another 17 to that isn't actually 17% increase. I don't want to go into the math for you there, but this is known as decreasing returns for stacking the same stat over and over, because all of these damage bonuses up, whether it's an element, physical, whatever it is, those are also additive with other bonuses from your supports. They're also additive with normal attack, charge attack, plunging attack up, which makes these new characters very strong. One of the strongest things you're gonna be able to see in Genshin is a properly maybe wailed out Ganyu with a well-built Shenhe here, because you're going to be able to absorb all of these stacks from her elemental skill very easily with a single charge shot with multiple enemies with a Ganyu, because she has access to so many ways to bonus damage herself up, whether it's charge shot damage or cryo damage. Ascension here, we already have cryo damage bonus up. You go into your build here, you have 61% baseline cryo damage bonus. You have access to weapons like the Amos bow that gives a ton of damage bonus up as well. It is not beyond the realms of possibility to have 150% plus damage bonus, all things said and done. Probably easier than that, maybe approaching 200% damage bonus on a Ganyu build that also is 200% or greater crit damage as well. And that is going to increase both the damage of Ganyu's super intergalactic missile of doom and destruction, as well as all of that raw damage from Shenhe too, which is going to be a magnificent sort of masterpiece to see in action. I can't wait to showcase both of these characters share that brand new sort of supportive aspect with this new sort of strategy that they're using. However, Shenhe's a little bit more nuanced, right? She's all about that burst damage. She doesn't fit into as many teams because you have to be doing cryo damage and you have to be focused on doing that cryo damage up as well. Because like we talked about, if you want to pair her, say with Eula, well, Eula can't really do that much cryo damage. She has access to the cryo damage effects from her Ice Tide Vortex on her E. She also has, does she have any cryo damage? Yeah, she has a little bit of cryo damage here as well. But if you pay attention to the way you build her, you don't have any cryo damage bonus in her build as well. So that bonus effect from Shenhe isn't really gonna be fully utilized and recognized by Eula. That's why you see people talking about using good old Shenhe with characters like Ayaka, characters like Chongyun, Ganyu, because those characters are built, those characters are built to maximize both their damage type and their element type, where Eula, her damage type is physical and her element type is cryo, and most of her damage comes from physical, so that's what she focuses on, so she can't fully utilize someone like Shenhe all that well.